Hey there, Phoenixes! Daniella Langford here, your friendly neighborhood secret weapon of Redesign Your Life Forever. And tonight I'm answering more of your questions, and this is going to link in a bit with the post that I made earlier in the day about what we are watching and what we are being told and how that relates to getting in contact with your intuition. Let me back this camera up just a little bit because it's like on my face. So I often get the question, what are some easy steps that I can take to get in contact with my intuition? And in fact, I get that question so often that that is basically the subject of my online course that I'm building right now for you all. And one of the easiest things that you can do is we're going to go through 3 of them, not tonight, but tonight's going to be the first one, and then I'm going to give you 2 more later on in the week. But the question, I get is, how do I easily connect with my intuition? What are some easy things that I can do that are everyday lifeable, so to speak? And this number 1 is a really big number 1 because for me, it precedes a whole lot of other things. And it really does link in with that post that I made earlier today. So one of the number 1 things that you can do is to really cut back on the amount of media that you are consuming. And I know that this is like a shock to everybody. They're like, oh, but I need to know the news. I need to know what's going on around the world. And yes, granted, that is absolutely true. But as the post that I posted earlier kind of gives you an indication of, that we're probably not really getting all of the real information about what's actually happening in the world. So how does that relate to our intuition? Well, it relates to our intuition because when we are constantly feeding our system with all of these types of senseless information, for lack of a better term, and it is fun stuff, honestly. I mean, I get it, but it's stuff like, knowing which celebrity is with who, or, these sports statistics, or, what's going on, in the celebrity world or the entertainment world, or, whatever. Knowing these kinds of things, like we can just say them off the top of a hat. It's like, yes, they're fun trivia kind of tidbits, but really what we're doing is we're filling our field with this useless information. And what it's doing is it's not allowing for that openness, that space, that quiet, reflective space to have the real answers actually come in from our own intuition. It really, really dampens our ability to discern for our own selves what we feel is true for us and what really is just something that is following along with the crowd. And this whole following along with the crowd thing is a very, very, very powerful, energetic situation that is being broadcast worldwide. So it's not just the Western world that's getting this. It is across the board. So much so that, if you think about it, only 5 companies own count it, all of the newspapers, magazines, television stations, movie companies, music record labels. 5 companies own all of that. So when you think about it, how much are we really actually being given legitimate, I want to say not just truthful, but dense information, in the good way dense, of where it actually has something to do with what's going on in the world. It has something to do with what's going on with the world, not only in the physical sense, as countries interacting with countries, but also in the spiritual sense of what is actually happening to us. We know that the science is there, the astronomy is there, that they know that, our whole entire solar system is heating up. Planets are showing this. There is a change in the sun. Nobody hears about it. But I feel like this would be information that would be vital for people to know, to try and understand what is happening for them on a personal level. So when we're getting fed constantly with all of this nattering and this back and forth and the politics and don't even get me started on politics, Phoenixes. I mean, I understand that, we need to stand up and, speak for our rights and this and constitutions and this and that and the other, and it's all very important. But the system, the way it is now, is literally just dividing us. As you've seen this election, this most recent election, and we're not going to get deep into it, but you've seen this most recent election divide people, families, friends in such a catastrophic way that has never been divided before. People getting divorces, unfriending people, just absolute mayhem. And it's all a distraction. All of this is a distraction from the fact that intuitively we are trying to come together and create community, but we can't be receiving those messages from our own intuition, from our higher self and our guides, if we're constantly feeding junk, basically, into the energetic system. And the number one way that you can start to create that space for your intuition to come in, for you to have that interaction with your intuition and your higher guides and higher self, is to cut back on all of this mindless media that we are force-fed to consume, because we're really filling our field not only energetically but our attention field. And as you all know, you've heard me say this before, we are co-creators, we are manifestors, we are divine incarnate, right? So we have an immense gift and power at our ability, but that attention that we could be using to focus in and learn our own levels of discernment and learn our own levels of truth and light and dark and all of these things are being completely washed out, completely like a photo that's been blown out, just completely washed out. Oh, thanks, Casey. Hey, baby. Completely washed out from all of this extraneous stuff that's going on around us. And don't get me wrong, there are certain TV shows that I absolutely love to watch, okay? Everybody's got them. I'm not going to say that I'm not exempt from this. But here's the thing. If you are going to watch stuff, have a look at what you're watching. Are you constantly watching crime dramas and things that are constantly traumatizing? And they are, make no mistake, they are traumatizing our energetic, our emotional and mental fields, so that we can't discern, we become emotionally, what is the word? Not jaded, but immune. We become emotionally immune to these things that really should affect us. And we just become blank slated by it. And it's really, really dangerous for that to be happening in conjunction with our attention as co-creators being pulled to focus on all of this other junk. So instead of focusing on ourselves, instead of focusing on creating community in our local areas and really working together with people and doing the thing that as humans we want to be doing, as spiritual beings that we want to be doing and learning and growing together, we're constantly being split and divided and our attention being pulled. And that really leaves zero room for your spiritual voice, for your higher self, your intuition, to have any contact. I like to describe it to my clients as the phone line is always busy. Our guides, our intuition, our higher self, they are constantly trying to call us, constantly trying to leave us voicemail messages, pages, constantly. Right now they're trying to talk to us, but the phone's busy. Because we're constantly filling ourselves up with that stuff that doesn't really mean anything when it comes to our own growth as humans, and this experience that we're having in this beautiful planet that we live, all of these things. So my number one tip for you, if you really want to start getting in touch with your intuition and your higher guides and your higher self, is to really cut back on this, on the amount of, news and mass media that you are bringing into your life, because that is creating a situation where the phone is busy, the phone is off the hook, they can't contact us anymore. And if you are going to watch stuff that has, I want to say, intrinsic value to our evolution. And of course, everything's going to be a little skewed one way or the other. Hey, Cindy. Hey, Kelly. Hello, ladies. Good to see you. But watch things that have to do with exploring our world, for instance. You know, exploring space, learning, developing, exploring. All of these things are way more useful to our time as co-creators, as manifestors, to be putting our attention towards than the nitter natter of the entertainment industry and the politics and the, you know, the back and forth with the, you know, the news thing, which of course, as you saw in that, yes, social media too. Casey, I find myself aimlessly browsing for just something to do. Absolutely. Absolutely. Because we are so conditioned that is basically the only thing to do, that it's not even acceptable to just sit there quietly with ourselves and just have, you know, just think. We, you know, we create situations for ourselves where we can't just think. And often in those times I find, not only for myself but for my clients, is that when we allow ourselves those times to think, even if we're just sitting there, no TV on or anything, just sitting there painting our nails and just, you know, not even really doing anything, but we're not engaging with this source that's constantly trying to shove stuff down our throat. So it gives space for our higher self and our intuition to finally come through, for them to be able to ring us on the phone and say, hey, here's an idea for you. And then all of a sudden, you know, you'll be sitting there painting your nails and you'll have a friggin' epiphany. I cannot tell you how many times that's happened. I mean, not necessarily with the painting of the nails thing, but when we give ourselves that time and space to just think, even when we're in the coffee shop, we're waiting for our coffee, you know, we're waiting for that pumpkin spice latte. Don't get me wrong, I love the pumpkin spice latte. It's a terrible thing. But, you know, we're on our phones, you know, and just to make that concerted effort to maybe just have a look around the room, you know, just observe what's going on around you, observe, you know, the families and, you know, the people that are coming in and out, observe the workers that are working there. And you're not making judgments, you're just looking around, you're just going, oh, that's interesting, oh, that's interesting. You know, just engaging yourself with the world and with yourself more so than you're engaging with the media and the phones and the stuff. So that has got to be my number one tip for you. If you want to be getting in contact with your intuition and your higher self, is to just limit your amounts of that stuff and just start slow. You know, if you feel like you've got to watch the news, you know, at 7 and at 10, and then when you get home at 4, at 6, and 8, and you gotta stay up and watch the 11 o'clock news, just cut a couple of those times out. Cut a couple of those out. Maybe just do the 7 and the 10 o'clock news. You know, the 7 and the 6 o'clock news. And just see how you feel. I mean, of course, here's a warning shocker for you. Warning sticker. You will get withdrawals. It is like a drug. It's weird, but I've seen it happen time and time and time again, even with my own self. Time and time and time again. You start pulling that stuff away, and you immediately go, oh my God, what am I missing? Oh my God, I gotta check in on this. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And that is just a withdrawal symptom. But when you can get through that, you're like, no, I watched the news at 6 and I watched the news at 7. That's it. Because it's going to probably be the same story that it was this morning. I've checked. I've tried this little experiment for myself. Just try and reel in some of those times. You know, if you love to watch your crime dramas at night, maybe change one of those crime, you know, of the 3 or 4 that you watch at night, you know, maybe change one of those out for a nature channel. Or Science Explained, you know, a Space Explained, you know, something that you're interested in also, that will pique your interest and pique your curiosity, but allow you also some space and openness to think, and then get in contact, be able to be more open for that contact and that connection with your higher self and your intuition. So that is me for this evening, lovelies. Thank you so much for all of you who showed up and who are coming and are posting and are commenting. I'm absolutely loving it. Stay tuned, because I believe this weekend, yes, this weekend is going to be our coffee talk, and that is going to be all about getting in contact with our spirit guides and our, you know, doing ancestral work and, you know, touching on a lot of different things. I've got a lot of different questions that I could answer from that. You guys have been sending those in to me personally through the messenger, and that is absolutely wonderful. So you definitely don't want to miss out on that, because that is essentially a free training / coaching session with me coming up on Zoom this Sunday, where you can ask me questions live. It's not like this. It's not talking head. It is one-on-one. And it is something that I really enjoy being able to do with you, because I get to meet you one-on-one and you get to meet me one-on-one, and we really get to share in that connection, in that community that we're trying to build here. So stay tuned for that. And I will be coming to you tomorrow for day 16. Woo! We are halfway through the 30-day challenge, and I am so grateful for you all here in this group. I'm so grateful for all of your progress, and to just be here as a part of your journey one way or the other. So this is Daniella of Redesign Your Life Forever, and thank you all for watching. I will see you tomorrow.